Hey guys, it's Brian with the Horror Experience. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, and I'm going to do the After Dark 8 Films to Die For series. Just so you know, After Dark Horrorfest was actually like a convention kind of a thing that they ran annually. As to where they ran them, I don't remember. But I do know that it started in 2006, and I think it ran all the way up until 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And what they would do is they would choose 8 films every year, independent films, to put in these box sets and sell them to the fans. But anyway, really not a lot of the movies were well-known directors or anything like that, but the movies were all very well done. Some of them were done by well-known directors, and some of them were brand new to the scene, so it's kind of an interesting mix of films, and they all have different, just like any of these other series that you can get, like the Fangoria and the Masters of Horror and so on. You get a lot of different flavors and different subgenres and so on. You get vampires and ghosts and monsters and sci-fi-ish type stuff, and it's kind of fun. So anyway, it ran 4 seasons technically, and then after that they did a thing called After Dark Originals, which was not sure if it would really classify as a season necessarily, and I don't know that it actually had anything to do with the After Dark Horror Fest functions. I think what happened is they brought back a bunch of their favorite directors from the original 4 seasons, and they did some more films for that. And they, again, they were fun. Some different stuff, some some low budget, but they were all independent, so a lot of fun. Anyway, I don't have these in any order whatsoever. They've been in the back of my closet, one of my closets, for quite a long time. I actually haven't viewed any of these films in at least 2 or 3 years, so forgive me if I don't know a whole lot about some of them. Some of them I remember pretty well, and some of them I don't, because maybe I haven't been back to revisit them, and recently or within the last year or two, and don't really remember much about them. But anyway, so that's kind of what that was. They did put them in box sets for the first 4 seasons, I believe. I know season 1, 2, and 3 I think were in box sets. I didn't get mine in box sets because I didn't know that there were box sets when I first started collecting these, so I was getting the movies separately. And a lot of the time I was just hitting the blockbusters and just basically taking them off the shelves there. And I would have this list of the movies I needed, and eventually I did find all, if not most of them. I think the originals, I may be missing a couple, but I'm not too concerned about that. I might try to find them later up the line. Most of these films are totally available, I think, on Amazon, and you might even be able to Tubi some of these. I happen to watch Tubi. In fact, I watched a movie today on Tubi called Last Girl Standing, which was kind of interesting. It was a kind of a mass murder type movie, and a woman who survived the mass murder is hunted down by this masked killer who wears this weird mask with antlers on it, and it was pretty decent. I thought it was pretty good. Kind of a newer movie. Anyway, let's get started. The first one is called Abandoned, or The Abandoned. And this is, like I told you, this is one I haven't seen in a long time, so I couldn't tell you what this is to save my ass. An American woman searching for her birth parents learns that she has inherited a house in the middle of the forest in a remote area of Russia. It is the house in the middle of the, it is the house where she was born. Abandoned and uninhabited for 40 years, it stands in total disrepair and neglect. What she finds is more than an old house. So I'm not really sure what we have here, but it's called Abandoned, and if I don't remember it, it doesn't mean that it wasn't good. It just means I haven't seen it in a long time. And when you have almost 5,000 movies, it's real easy to forget stuff. I try not to watch a movie, like sometimes I just pick stuff randomly because somebody will come over and ask, oh, and by the way, this came out in 2006, so this was part of the original releases, the first season, The Abandoned. Somebody will come over, a friend or something, and, oh, I want to see this movie, Well, unless it's sitting right out front, in my shelving or whatever, or I've seen it recently and I know right where it is, I ain't finding it. There's just no way. I mean, I've got stuff, most of my mainstream stuff, I know where it is, like Friday the 13th, Nightmares, the Nightmare movies, and Halloween, etc., etc. I know where all that is because it's all together, but when it comes to just like a single movie that I haven't seen in years and it's buried in the back on a shelf somewhere, you just have to tear everything apart to find it. And sometimes you never find it until you just accidentally bump into it. All right, the next one. This one is called Reincarnation. And this is a Japanese film. It was actually done by the people who brought you The Grudge and The Grudge 2. And this is some kind of strange... Here comes an eerie tale of a hotel with a terrifying history. 35 years after the slaughter, a film director returns to the scene of a mass murder to recreate the gruesome killings on film. As he and his crew step into the now abandoned hotel, the cast members begin to see creepy visions and nightmares. When shooting commences, the cast members begin to suffer very similar fates, the exact fate that are to act out in the film. So yeah, this is kind of a supernatural ghost thing. Pretty good movie, actually. Reincarnation. And that also was from season 1, I believe. So that came out in 2005. So, yeah, season 1. This one happens to be season 3. You can see the 3 up here. This one's called Slaughter. Now, this one here, I don't really remember exactly what this is about, but I think it's about some people who own a slaughterhouse. And this one actually has a slipcover with a little... Funny thing is, it doesn't really do any... Oh, I see. That little skeleton dude kind of disappears and pops back up. Looking to escape an abusive relationship, Faith moves in with Lola and her family's farm. Every night the girls go out. The young, sexy Lola brings home an older man. When Faith realizes Lola's one-night stands are disappearing, she fears Lola's creepy family is killing more than just animals at the slaughterhouse. So obviously it's a slaughterhouse, and it looks to me like they're cannibalistic, I would imagine. So it's probably a cannibal type movie. Slaughter, 2000 and This one came out in 2009, so this was season 3. So we're jumping ahead a few years. Season 1.
You mind telling me why I'm sitting here?
You don't know?
No. All I know is one of your deputies came sniffing around my truck.
I can't see that. Oh boy, it's getting darker outside.
Cliff. His boss.
2008.
I hear you two had
Wonder how a 2008 film would get involved. Now here there was a sticker on this, and I tried to peel it off, which, as you can see, didn't work very well. This is called Lake Dead. Very good movie. This is a hillbilly film where a family goes to like a motel out in the middle of nowhere on a lake, and the hotel is run by a bunch of hillbillies. The woman behind the counter who's running the place acts completely normal. She's like really friendly and nice and everything. So they makes everybody feel at home. And then to come to find out the rest of the family are just a bunch of inbred, wackos, Lake Dead, unrated. Very good movie. I loved it. Good ending too. Kind of a cliffhanger. All right, the next one, also from 2008. How did 2008 get on this release? I don't understand it. But anyway, this one's called Mulberry Street. This is a zombie film.
besides the obvious, you went over him post-mortem.
And quite well done, actually. Hey!
I mean, the time of death approximately 9 p.m. 9 o'clock last night, are you sure about that?
The kids.
DJ was in that office 9 o'clock last
The cat kids. Anyway, this was a very well done flick. I've had this movie for a long time. If you like good zombie movies, you'll love Mulberry Street. Very underrated. A lot of people probably have never heard of it unless they've watched reviews or whatever on 8 Films to Die For. Alright, now we're jumping over to season 4, which takes us up to 2009 also. And this one is called Kill Theory. And again, I couldn't tell you about this. 7 college students visit a secluded vacation home to celebrate graduation and become trapped in a deadly game by a mysterious killer forced to kill one another by 6 a.m. Oh yeah, now I remember it. Pretty good, pretty twisty, original type thing. The killer basically gives them that they have to kill each other in the house by 6 a.m. or he's going to come in and kill them or something along those lines. But anyway, it's pretty original and fun. Kill Theory. Going back to season 1 again. The Deaths of Ian Stone. This is a supernatural film dealing with demons and that kind of thing. Good movie, good, interesting effects. I think these are out on Blu-ray too. Again, like I mentioned in one of my earlier earlier episodes, I'm not somebody who needs to go and get everything on Blu-ray when I already have it on DVD. I don't, or 4K or whatever. I just don't need to do that. As long as I can see what's going on, I don't need to, I don't need it crystal clear and all that. It just isn't that important to me. I would rather have older films, like Halloween on 4K was great. I love that, and I bought it, along with the DVDs and stuff that I already had, so I got it again. But man, it's like watching a whole other film. It really is. Back to season 4 with this one called Hidden. With his mother's passing, KK returns home after 19 years to settle her estate. But with his heritage comes a dark and deadly secrets. Having spent the last 2 decades trying to forget his cruel mother in his past life in the creepy house in the woods, KK finds that there are some things you just can't run from. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I really don't know, other than what I just read. I don't really know much about this film. Hidden, from season 4. Okay, off the first season. At least I think it was, or it might have been season 2. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the reason why I'm seeing 2008 is because they're actually season 2. Because I don't think season 2 actually put season 2 on here, so it looked like season 1, but it's actually season 2. This one's called Borderland, unrated director's cut. Now this is dealing with like a satanic drug cartel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, when 3 Texas University students travel to the Mexican border town on the eve of their graduation, the last thing they expect is to face their own deaths. Without warning, they fall prey to an ancient blood cult, hell-bent on finding candidates for human sacrifice, inspired by a true story. Borderland tells a story which blends the raw fear of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the stark reality of a cold blood evoking a world soaked in paranoia, fear, and dread. And just so you know, each of these do have a lot of like special features and stuff on here. And then they had this Scream Queen thing, Miss Horrorfest contest, which I didn't really pay much attention to that, but Borderland. So it's dealing with a cult south of the border, basically. And it was based on true story. Alright guys, I'm going to go get the next pile. I'll be right back.